If you study history, you find out that this one that said, I almost become a Christian, was a great-grandson of the one that killed all the children and wanted to kill Christ. Great-grandson. So the father will come and do the same thing, sword. The son will come, sword. Sword, 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 sword. Even the grandson, the great-grandson will fall in line and say, these people, we have pursued these people right from the days of my great-great-great-grandfathers. But this one want to change me to become a Christian. I am not meant to be a Christian. I am Herod. Now look at this. Verse 3 of Act 12. That is when we call the praying church. Verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him food to the people. Verse 5. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayers was made without ceasing. Prayers. Now when we say prayers was made, I love the house of prayer. We don't just pray prayers, we make prayers. Now this is when I say we make prayers, this is what I'm going to tell you. In this house of prayer, we have conducted a spiritual marriage. We have a father, we have a mother, we have a ring, we have a wedding gown, then we have a groom, and we have a bride. Somebody that was having issues in marriage came, and a spiritual marriage was arranged. I want to be particular about the word I'm using. Spiritual marriage was arranged, and they exchanged drink. That was prayer. Met 3 months after, I think 3 months after, or less than that, there was something began to happen. And before that year ends, we had gone to the actual wedding. It happened in this church. Now go to verse 17. I want to jump. But he beckoned unto them with the hand to hold their peace. This is Peter. Declare unto them how the Lord had brought him out of prison, and how he said, go, show these things to James. Give me in New King James Version. Give me, there's a one that says the brothers. I don't want to use brethren. Brothers. Tell James and the other brothers what happened. He said, and then he went to another place. Now, this is information. This information is my reasoning, and I think I have read through that chapter 12, and it happened that this gathering was in a woman's house, Mary. And when I read, it happened that the person that came to attend to Peter was a woman, Rhoda. And when I read, Peter said, tell this to James and brothers. So I came to a conclusion. Maybe it was the women that gathered in the house of Mary to pray. And the Bible captured it as the church. Have done all my investigation. I didn't see a record that said there was a man in that place. So women, I'm calling you now. When you gather to pray, are you praying as a church? Or you are praying as women? The Bible did not say the women of the church gathered. He said the church made prayers. Women made prayers. I stand to be corrected that there was a man in that place. I've done all my research up and down. There was no man mentioned. Women gathered. If it was a man, they would have gathered in a man's house. Because we know in those days, it was a man that was more, in command. So it was a women thing. So they chose their leader and gathered. And they did not say it is Mary's, what do you call it? Mary's fellowship. It was the church. And they prayed. And the angel moved. When Peter came, he said, tell James. James was a man. And other brothers. That this is, if they were brothers, they would have said, brother, come. Go and tell James and... I tried to find out whether they were brothers there. I couldn't have any clue. But every message and text I read point that it was the women of the church. And now the youths, what are you doing? You only gather when you have ceremony. And after that show, everybody, the church that prays. Men, Usai. This is the end of the year. How many times have we gathered as men and prayed in this church this year? I know the children are doing very well. But then, how about the unit heads? The choir, the media, and all other units. Herod is taking the church down one by one, and they have a plan that the father will finish and hand over to the son will finish and hand over to the grandson will finish and hand over to the great grandson. And this, on the Bible records 6 Herods that was after the kingdom of Christ. I don't know how many Herods are after your lives. I don't want to know. But my own is, when Herods are succeeding, is when the church was keeping quiet. They kept quiet. They took John the Baptist. Pow! They kept quiet. They were doing solo. But that time they didn't really understand. They killed innocent children from 2 years down. Massacred them. They didn't really understand. But now Christ came and was saying, okay, go back home. That Herod is dead. Go back. But then God appeared to him again in the dream and said, see, I told you to go back, but then be careful. Don't enter that territory. Don't go to Nazareth. You'll be killed. Go to Galilee. In the dream again. So was God afraid? Wisdom. Then James, James said was off. And the church was still keeping quiet. And now they move and pick Peter. And the women says, no, if the men are keeping quiet, we don't go keep quiet. If they take Peter, that means what is left. The women gathered. And the women fired up. And when Peter arrived, they said, no, be Peter. But then it's Peter. Because the church made prayers. I could imagine them putting Peter on the stool, chain, rope. And I could imagine a woman kicking the gates open, kick. And another woman kick 4 gates. They kick 4 gates open. And I could imagine another woman go drag Peter and say, leave this place, you are not supposed to be here. Even when Peter was sleeping, something was happening in the house of Mary. And the angel moved because they made prayers and said, Peter, wear your sandals. Stop this. He said, yeah. And the angel said, follow me. Peter had have that kind of encounter twice. Christ said, Peter, follow me. And the angel also said, Peter, follow me. That means when Peter's mission to be the cliche, because God says, on this rock I will build my cliche, did not finish. So how will you kill Peter like that? And God touched the women of the church. And they gathered in their leader's house. And they did not say, it's not, but why should it be Mary's house? My house is fine now. So why are we going to gather in Mary's house? They didn't start to argue among themselves. And the men were nowhere to be found. And Peter had to say, please go and tell James. And also tell other brothers that I have been released so miraculously. So let me find my levels. Youths, you are the leaders of the church, both male and female. Wow. When you say a praying church, how many battles have we won this year? How many have we lost? How many are we going to lose by keeping quiet? Let me shock you. When Jesus Christ told Peter, come out during the storm, and he walked on water, who called Jesus Christ? Who called Peter? Jesus Christ. Did the storm respect that? So why was it still stormy? Did the storm respect that? He went. It was still stormy. That was why he did not focus well, because he was looking at the storm. When Christ said, come, he rose and walked on water. He was walking on water, and that is final. So why are you still looking at the storm? And what happened when he sang? Did Jesus help him? No. When did Jesus help him? No. It was when he prayed. He was in front of Jesus and he sang. Jesus was there. The Bible did not say Jesus helped him. Jesus was there looking at him, and he's going. And he now says, Jesus, help me. Jesus now heard the prayers and help. So you can sing even in this church if you keep quiet. It didn't make up for us, you can sing. Jesus did not help him before he demanded for help. Jesus was watching him and he was singing. When he realized that he needed help, he now prayed. And God brought him out. How about Lot? The angels were holding him. Lot. Somebody that the angel was holding still perish. For the fact that you are walking with an angel does not mean that you are there. For the fact that Christ has called you to come does not mean that it's total. If you keep your mouth quiet during storm, ask Peter. He will tell you how far you have to pray. The church kept quiet for too long. And they were taking them one by one. They were taking the leaders, the spirit-filled leaders, the anointed ones. And it was still the same Herod, the same method, the same cutting of head. See, I want us to reconsider ourselves, our dedication as we are going into 2026. Don't stay in front of Jesus Christ and sing. And you keep quiet, singing. You will sing. You have to open your mouth and demand for help. The man that was blind says, Jesus Christ, Son of David, have mercy. He shouted. He didn't keep quiet. If he had kept quiet and say, Jesus Christ, Son of David, they would have passed. They would have passed. So let's not keep quiet again as a church. First, let's look at ourselves. We have the characteristics of that certain church that has been persecuted, whether from outside or from inside. Now let me shock you the inside. When Peter was coming out of, when the angel said, follow me, he did not have the keys. It's the angel that had the keys. The angel was doing like this. The doors was opening. Peter went. When Peter came and knocked, the one that the church members will open, they will not open. No. Peter knocked and knocked and knocked. Rhoda came. Peter, they say, people that were praying were telling you, you are a madman. You're mad in the place of prayer. They were also calling people, you're a madman. And Rhoda said, I have heard his voice. That means as Peter was knocking, Peter was shouting, please open, please open, please open. And the church said, Usai, open for where? The church could also, when the angels have opened the four guarded major gates, in short, they called it, they were guarded to the teeth. He did not have problems. When he go, when he entered the church side, nobody opened. Please, let's be a praying church so that in 2026 we will win all our battles. Let's stand. Please sing that song. Sing it properly if you know the song.